Hey, how's it going? So today's video is basically just going to be a bunch of clips of me dying. And the reason I'm doing this is because I just want to show you guys how I learn from my deaths and how I get better at this game. I think watching clips of every time you die is a really good way to learn and get better at the game. So basically we're just going to start with these clips right off the bat. Some of these clips are a little bit older, but they're still pretty relevant to the game and just learning in general. So basically, the moral of the story here for this clip is that Crystal Sword is extremely strong right now, even as just a melee weapon. It's a very strong weapon, and you need to be really careful as a rogue if you're going to open on someone using Crystal Sword. One hit, one or two hits max, and then back off. That's safe against Crystal Sword. It's just such a strong weapon right now. So basically, in this clip, I'm being chased by a movement speed capped Barbarian. And he catches up to me and he chases me around the corner before I have time to react to him throwing the Francesca axe. Basically, what I could have done differently here is looked behind myself earlier so I knew he had Francesca axes out. Dude, this guy's actually really good at Barbarian. Good job. One thing about Francesca axes is when you equip them, other people do not hear the equip sound. And so part of the reason I died here is because I didn't know he had a Francesca axes equipped. But best thing I could have done here is just try to dodge better, and also turn and run faster as soon as I knew that he saw my silhouette from stealthing. So in this clip, we're being chased by a very geared Druid, and essentially what happens is he's so fast that I'm not able to run away from him, so I'm being forced to fight him. But the thing is about Druid is that you can't really face tank duel them as a rogue, not with my build, maybe if you're tank rogue. But I'm being forced to fight him, and it's a super unfavorable fight for me. And no matter what in this fight, I'm pretty much guaranteed to lose the face tank fight because Panther way out damages me, and Bear Form way out damages me and out healths me. So it's a really hard fight to win here. You pretty much have to run. I think what I should have done is started running earlier and then kept running and waited for his shield pot to dissipate. That probably would have given me a little bit better of a chance. So this is a clip of me being 100 to 0'd by a Sorcerer's lightning bolt. This got changed, it no longer goes through walls, but it still does really high damage. The thing to learn here is that if you're being lightning bolted by a Sorcerer, you need to like cutthroat and try to get it off you or something, or line of sight. Cutthroat and crossbow bolt, that's like your best chance. So in this clip I died to a Nightmare Death Beetle. Basically what happened is there was an update, and Iron Mace Stealth added a change to the Nightmare Death Beetle's attacks, where they now do 2 attacks. I didn't know about this, so I didn't read the patch notes. I actually think it wasn't in the patch notes, so maybe this death is not my fault really. In this clip I pull off about as best of an ambush as you can get. But unfortunately, Crystal Sword is a very strong weapon, and it's able to just 2-tap faster than I can kill the guy. What I could have done differently is landed the 3rd hit of the Kris attack here. It just barely missed, and if it had landed, it would have killed him. So try and stick on people that you know are squishy, and you know will die in the full 4-hit combo. Don't try and back up.
I'm so bad at ranged weapons, man.
So this is a really weird clip where this guy is basically able to use an invis pot in like just the perfect amount of range where I can't use it. I think that's what happened. But he was so close to me that I assumed that I would have heard the invis pot sound, but I didn't hear it. So I was so confused about where he was. Because usually from that distance you can hear people that use an invis pot. And then I heard him equip the staff, so I was even more confused. Like, how did he pull off an invis pot that close to me without me hearing it? So the moral of the story of this clip is trust your instincts, trust your eyes if something seems off. So this guy did a really smart like back stutter step, which juked me out and caused me to back up a little bit and miss the 3 and 4 combo of my Kris. So the thing I should have done differently here is to just stuck on him, held W. If I would have hit him with the full combo, he would have died. Another thing to note is that magic staffs in general are just an insanely strong melee weapon, and in my personal opinion, they do way too much damage. So be really careful when you're opening on someone using a magic staff. In this clip, I get ran down by a Druid while I have 322 movement speed. Basically, the moral of the story of this clip is that you can't really run from Druid. You need to, like, try and fight or do something else because you cannot run from them. So there's two weird things happening in this clip. One is that this Nightmare Goblin Archer turns and leads his shot into me. This is weird behavior because they usually don't do this. They usually just aim directly at you and fire. I think what happened is my teammate being next to the Goblin caused him to like bug out a little bit with his aggro. Secondly, there's a bug with Goblin Archers where sometimes their shots will instantly hit you as soon as they let go of their bow. And when this happens, you'll know it. And basically what you have to do is you have to get behind line of sight immediately or you're going to die. So this is the clip where I learned that potions and bandages actually have a movement speed penalty just for holding them, not for using them. And I think this confuses a lot of people when I bring it up because this is a movement speed penalty just for holding the potion and bandage, not a movement speed penalty just for using. So moral of the story, sheathe your bandages and pots when you're running from someone. So this is a clip of me opening on a cleric and dying because I stay in the fight too long. As a rogue, you should back off of fights after the 4-hit combo from Kris, because if people are surviving longer than that, they have enough time to turn and kill you with pretty much any melee weapon in the game, because rogue is going to die in like 2-3 hits of any weapon except daggers. I should have backed off and finished this guy with like a hand crossbow or a drum. So this clip is a little bit older, but it's still relevant. The moral of the story from this clip is never open on a Slayer fighter who knows you're there. Slayer fighter is going to beat you as a rogue every time. If a Slayer fighter knows where you are, you need to just run. The only way you're going to kill them is if you open on them with a perfect ambush.
Where'd that barb go?
So in this clip, I try to open on a Zweihander barb who has a potion of protection up. Number one, it's a bad idea to open on a Zweihander barb who has the Zweihander equipped, because Zweihander is going to 2-tap a rogue in any amount of gear level. Number two, you should in general not open on people who have potions of protection up. So this was just a bad judgment on my part of opening on this fight. So this is a clip of me being chased by a movement speed capped Barbarian, and we know that because he's wearing copper-like gear. Movement speed capped Barbarian is basically a rogue killer build because they are so fast they're going to outrun you and they're going to catch you with Achilles if you get hit, and they do more damage and they're tankier than you. What I try to do is loop around a pillar. Looping around a pillar is a really good way to get people off of you, especially if they have high movement speed. But unfortunately, I hit a invisible part of the wall on the pillar that kind of stopped my movement for a second, so I backed off the wall. What I should have done here is not try to run into the room. I should have tried to just keep looping around the pillar until his rage wore off, but this is a really hard fight to win. So in this clip, I die with Death Bloom to a ranger. This guy is a streamer named Cody. He's pretty good at ranger. But basically what happened is I got a Death Bloom, and I really rarely use stiletto, so I'm not used to the attack pattern, and I'm used to the range of Kris. Kris has a higher range than Stiletto. Kris actually would have won this fight, but basically Stiletto missed the first hit because it's so precise of a weapon that it missed the first hit, which caused this guy to not get cutthroated. If he would have gotten cutthroated, he wouldn't have been able to backstep and it would have been an easy kill. So this is a rare scenario where Kris actually would have won versus a Death Bloom.
Good job.
But yeah, basically what I could have done differently is just landed that first hit and then I would have won. So this is an old clip, as you can tell by the storm. But basically what's happening in this clip is I panic and die to mobs. This is a really good lesson in just trying to stay calm and don't panic when you're playing the game, because you can die to some of the easiest stuff in the game. Another thing I learned is that in this section of this module, you can't crouch or walk past that torch holder. So in this clip I die because I don't realize that the Goblin Archer that's in the dark is actually a Nightmare Goblin Archer. Basically, what you should learn from this clip is that you should be really careful with goblin archers when they're in the dark. Don't assume they're just like a red goblin archer.
I really didn't think that was a fucking nightmare.
So in this clip, I die because I stealth in the return pathing for a goblin to go back to its spawn point. Try not to stealth where you know goblins will return in their pathing because they might hit you, they might touch you and pop you out of stealth and then kill you. So this is a really preventable death and also kind of really unlucky. So basically I opened this door without checking what kind of goblin was behind it first, and then unluckily it was a Nightmare Bola goblin who did the fastest possible wind up and throw of his Bola, and then he did another fastest possible wind up of his Bola and throw it as soon as I tried to close the door. Kind of a bit unlucky, but you know, check behind doors before just running into them. So this is another clip where I stay in a fight too long. This is especially prevalent against fighters and clerics because they have plate. If I had backed off after the 4-hit Kris combo and thrown weapons at this guy or shot him with a hand crossbow, he would have died and I would have gotten a huge payout from his kit. But I stayed in the fight way too long and it ended up killing me. Cinder. Damn. So close! So in this clip, I die to another movement speed capped Barbarian. And I should have been able to tell this because he was using Frostlight gear. I saw him take 2 hits from the Nightmare Goblin Archer, so I knew he had to be low, and I tried to stick on him, but I wasn't able to. If I was able to stick on him here, he would have died. But unfortunately, I had to back off here because I took a hit and I lost the range advantage I have versus his Bardiche. Movement speed capped Barbarians are so hard to kill. Like, you really... what I should have done here is I should have stealthed and tried to run away. Once he backed off and drank, there was really no way for me to win this engagement, so I should have just tried to run. I tried to loop around a pillar, but it didn't work because he had 5 more movement speed than I did. I was running 325 movement speed. What is his movement speed has to be cap. Yeah, he's really good.